Hi everyone, this is Aaron for Zollotech. We're going to unbox the Galaxy Nexus. This is Verizon's first Android 4.0 running Ice Cream Sandwich. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. I've been looking forward to taking a look at this one for quite some time, and now it's finally out. So let's go ahead and open it up. And there you can see it's got quite a large screen at 4.65 inches. So the overall screen is very nice and is supposed to be a Super AMOLED screen with a resolution of 1280 by 720, so it should be pretty nice. So here's the device itself, very thin. It's got curved glass, but we'll take a look at that more in a moment. Let's take a look at what's in the box quickly. So here we have some documentation like normal. We have Master Your Device. We have consumer information, product safety, and that's about it. And there are quite a few different things there. We have a battery here, and the battery is fairly large. It's actually 100 milliamp hour larger than the previous Galaxy Nexus, or the GSM version rather, and it has the capacity of 1850 milliamp hours and a talk time of about 12 hours and standby for 150. So let's go ahead and open this since I'm going to need this. Here we have our micro USB adapter. You can just see there's the USB adapter. Here's the normal USB. We have a wall adapter. This is their square AC wall adapter to USB in the back. And we have what looks to be some headphones. And let's go ahead and look at that. I haven't gotten a Samsung device with some headphones in some time. So we have headphones with a little built-in microphone for phone calls. Let's move that out of the way, and we'll go ahead and take a look at what really matters here, and that's the phone. So the phone itself, we've got this little plastic piece over the front, but it has curved glass like I mentioned. It's got a 4.65 inch screen. It has curved glass. I don't know if it's Gorilla Glass, I believe it is. It's curved glass, capacitive multi-touch like you'd expect, but it runs at 1280 by 720, so it's a 720p HD screen and should be very nice, Super AMOLED. On the front we have a 1.2 megapixel forward-facing camera. We've got our earphone here and nothing else on the front. They've moved the buttons rather to the interface of the device instead of down here, so it's something new in Ice Cream Sandwich. On the side here we have some pogo pins for a dock. We have our sleep wake button. On the top we don't have anything. On the back we have this cover here. We have this, I forget what they call this, but in the keynote from Google they actually called this some new non-slip surface. I can't remember the actual name of it, but it has kind of a carbon fiber-ish look to it with a little weave going on sort of, and looks pretty nice. We have a 5 megapixel camera with flash. It records in 1280, or I'm sorry, 720 and 1080p, and should do a pretty nice job, and does instant capture, so there's no shutter lag or anything. Looks like we've got our speakerphone down here. On the bottom we have our microphone. We've got our micro USB and 3.5 inch or 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And let's go ahead and open it up here. There we are. Okay, so this just feels plasticky, but it does have a rubberized coating on it. We do have a slot for a SIM card because this is a 4G LTE device. Let me go ahead and grab the SIM card that Verizon was nice enough to send. It's a micro SIM. I'm going to pop it in here. Looks like it'll spring-loaded. And it's a little oversized. If you see, here's a normal SIM card, and it's a little bit too wide. So it's just a little bit different, this device in particular, how you place the SIM card in. So let me go ahead and place the battery in place. We'll pop the back on. Somehow, carefully. There we go. It snaps around there pretty firmly, and you can see I've got my fingerprints all over the front of it. But let's go ahead and turn it on. And this will be the first time I've used Ice Cream Sandwich, and it's quite a refined version of Android. Android for some time compared to iOS and Windows Phone 7, just didn't seem as refined as far as the way things move. It was refined as far as what it did and what it does and can do, but when it came to moving things across the screen, things just didn't flow like the other phones. There you can see a nice startup animation. So this is running on dual 1.2 gigahertz processors. This Android is upgrading. I've seen that on other videos, and it says start. So the phone runs on dual 1.2 gigahertz processors. It has a gig of RAM internally and 32 gigabytes of storage. So it should be a pretty nice fast phone. Let's go ahead and hit start. It says welcome. Just a sec. Wait for it to do its thing, and we'll try and use this. We have about half battery left. There we go, it's activating. So this could take a few moments. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And the screen itself looks really nice from what I can tell. It just faded out there a little bit. But it supports Flash, like you'd expect from Android. It has HTML5 and has a modern browser. Really nice. Supports LTE, CDMA, and overall should be really nice once we use this. It does have NFC in it, although I don't have anywhere to test that, which allows you to make payments with your phone. It has a little radio antenna in it for RFID payments. We'll do over-the-air sync and computer sync, anything that you would expect from Android. And as far as Wi-Fi goes, it has 802.11b, G, N, and A, which is pretty rare. You don't normally see A in a phone. It also has Bluetooth 3.0. So we're waiting here. This could take a few moments, so I'll let this activate. It says we have 3G. We don't have 4G down here. And we'll give it a few. It does see that signal. But so far, it looks far less choppy than what I've seen on Android before as far as startup goes, and it just looks really smooth. While we're waiting for this to activate, let's go ahead and take a look at size-wise. Here is the Droid Razr. So you can see they look fairly similar size-wise, but the screen's slightly smaller on the Razr, believe it or not. It's 4.65 inches diagonally on the Nexus, where on the Razr it's 4.3. So it's pretty nice. To give you a comparison, how tiny the iPhone is compared to these is pretty small. You can see here's an iPhone 4S next to it. If we put it in front of it, you can see it's just got a lot more screen real estate there on the front, on the Nexus. Size-wise, though, it's really thin. You can see next to the iPhone 4S how thin it is, or next to the Razr how thin it is. It's a little bit more thick than the Razr, but not quite as thin, rather, as the Razr. So let's go ahead and move these phones out of the way. We really care about this right now. Let's turn it back on. So here's an example of, I'll hit next here in a moment, but here's an example of how smooth this is. When we turn it, it'll take a second. It just did that. See if it works. Oh, I guess not. I'll show you in the next one. So we'll go ahead and sign in. The sign-in's a little bit different than before. It's turning on Wi-Fi. I'm going to go ahead and set this up. I'll put in my password, and you can see one of the things they've changed in this version of the OS is what they call the font, or the font type is Roboto. Before, I'm not sure what they were using, but they created a specific font for this version of Android. So let me go ahead and sign in here. I'm connecting to my Wi-Fi here. It says connected. Hit next. And it wants me to put in my username and password, so I'll go ahead and do that for email. I've put in my username and password for my Gmail account. It says it can take a few minutes. Now, I can tell you just from typing on that keyboard that this feels like a completely different keyboard, and that's what they said that the keyboard is. So let's go ahead and back up to restore. It'll say it's restoring my account. I don't really have an account with Android 4.0 on it, but overall, the OS looks a little bit different so far, and things feel very responsive. That keyboard, Android or Google has said that the keyboard is very responsive now. Autocorrect is better. It looks a little bit different, and it definitely does. Oh, I wanted to go back, but I don't have a back. So it's telling who the phone belongs to. Go next, and finish. So I want to get into the OS here. So it's saying make yourself at home. You can put your favorite apps. I know how to use this. I've seen lots of videos on it. So here's the main Verizon home screen. Really nice. A little bit choppy there for a second. I don't know why. Zynga Poker. Okay, so here's the main home screen. Hit the little, it says choose some apps. We'll hit OK. And you can see here's the apps. Now what they've done is change the interface to be a lot like Honeycomb, but more on the phone. They've changed all the different applications, all the different things. You can see how they fade back in and out. And that's the refinement I was talking about. What they've done is really change the way things work. Let's go to the browser quick here. Automatic Google sign-in. That's different, but that's nice. Let's go ahead and rotate. And it should be smooth. Now what I said is they've refined it is when you turn this, you can see how the animation is smooth. Before it wasn't quite the same way. It's just, instead of, a lot of Android phones, they'll just snap back and forth. And they've really refined a lot of the interface on this, where before it was very, very functional. Now it's beautiful and functional without you having to change any settings or anything. And it just looks really nice and different. We have options for different apps. We can organize app folders. We can put them in the dock down here. And we can do all sorts of things now. So I'm not going to go into it too much here in this video, but just wanted to take a quick look at it. And it should be really fast. In fact, let's go to Zollotech and see how it is. We'll do a quick search for it. My website here. We'll go to Zollotech.com. Now I only have 1 bar of Wi-Fi, which is kind of odd. Normally I have more than that, but really fast. And here's, I can tell already there's a smoothness to the browser when scrolling that's a little bit different than before. Feels really nice, and I'm really excited to use it. You can see there's different buttons down here. We have our last used apps here, and if we want to close it, we can slide it off. So there's a lot of neat little things they've done to Ice Cream Sandwich. So I'll go ahead and take a further look at this in a different video, but I just wanted to show you what comes in the box and what it's like to use, or what it's like to set up for the first time. Be sure to check back. I'll have a lot of different videos on Ice Cream Sandwich and this phone as well, and be sure to check back for the review in about a week or so. This is Aaron. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and hit subscribe. I'll see you next time.